amazing new aspects that we have created. I don't know whether you've seen them already. Here. Yeah. And this is Elsa Pace and Echo Cares. So let me just close this. So anything we try to do in visual rehabilitation tries to get us from this image to this image. That's the aim, right? Improve the aberrations, improve the visual quality. Let me just briefly open something up here so I have a better overview. And sorry for that. Now, we have developed a new technique we call Elsa Pace. And Elsa Pace is cross-linking. But look at this. Before and after.
We can't see the presentation. We can't see the screen.
Oh, I'm sorry for that. I thought I pressed share screen. Let me do this one more time. Thank you for telling me now. Now you should be able to see it. Here. Yes. Do you see? Yeah. See, this is Elsa Pace before and after. And this is absolutely amazing. Now, you might say, but you can do this with the excimer laser. Yes, that's true. This is an excimer laser that I did. One of my patients I treated with the corneal wavefront guided treatment. Looks very similar. Super improvement. Where is the difference between Elsa Pace and Athens protocol or Cretan protocol? I have removed zero micrometer of stroma. Nothing. It's a pure cross-linking effect. And that's absolutely amazing. To do so, I need the exact opposite of what we did in the Al-Zatari camp, where we had a backpack and a power bank. This time I need high-tech. I need the Schwind Amaris excimer laser. I need our CI technology and our own riboflavin, and I need the epithelial maps of the cornea, in this case, from the MS-39. This is how we developed PACE. As I told you, our technology can be either used in the laying position, but it can also be used under the Amaris, probably very soon also under other excimer lasers, or even at the slit lamp. So what we do in PACE is PTK-assisted customized epion. So the basis of PACE is our epion, the epion I showed you some minutes ago. It's a very solid epion. But if I treat the entire cornea the same way, we would simply have no more progression, but the same topography. Now what PACE does is I measure the tip of the keratoconus with the Gaussian profile, not the axial profile, sagittal profile, not the tangential, but the Gaussian profile. And then I tailor a PTK around the top. But it is epithelial map guided. I do not remove any stroma. So in this area, I remove the epithelium and Bauman's membrane, but not the stroma. And by doing so, I have an epi-off window. So if I now treat the entire cornea the same way, there is a gradient between epi-off and epi-on. There is much more oxygen availability in the epi-off area, which creates a first gradient. But then imagine I give riboflavin onto this cornea. As I told you, it took us several years to get good riboflavin penetration over the epi-on area. But if you have a small window, there is much more riboflavin still entering over the epi-off area. There's nothing to keep the riboflavin from entering, and it goes down and to the side. And after a few minutes, it creates a natural gradient. More riboflavin in the center with more oxygen availability means more cross-linking, more flattening. And in the end, I selectively retreat the epi-off window with even more total energy. So I have 3 different gradients. And by doing so, this is what I see during the treatment. And by doing so, I get these amazing results. The most common question we get, I don't need an excimer laser. I'm a good surgeon. I can do this with the manual PTK abrasion. No, you can't, because you need to be epithelial map guided. And if you're 50 or 100 micron off, you lose almost half the effect. So it really is a matter of titrating the effect just around the cone. And these are the results we're getting. Absolutely stunning results. Some of our patients gain 6 lines with glasses. 6 lines. And another amazing thing is the coupling effect. So if you press down a cornea, the upper part goes up. This is the difference image. And you see the astigmatism gets much more regular. Regularity means better vision with glasses. And this is what we tell our patients. Here is another absolutely stunning effect before and after. So right now we have surgeons from the entire world asking us on a daily basis, give us all the ingredients for pace. But we have treated more than 300 eyes now in the last 4 years. The paper is ready, but you need an excimer, and you need for now the Amaris, the MS39, our CI device, and it is based on Epi-on. So you need the penetration enhancers, and we are still waiting for the European community to give us the CE mark on the penetration enhancers. Once all of this is given, you can do these amazing treatments. And again, no stroma removed. Look at the aberrations. Look at the coupling effect. This is a regularization of 16 diopters. 16. The coupling effect gives you a much better visual quality. As you can see here, the RMS value went from 3.3 to 0.99. This is cross-linking. This is not an excimer laser procedure. Thickness, after 1 year, virtually unchanged. The demarcation line does what PACE does. It is at roughly 210-20 in the periphery, and it goes down to almost the endothelium in the center. We did not have any visually disturbing haze in any of the patients after 1 year. That's important because we use very high energy. So taken together, what I just showed you is not Athens protocol. It is not Cretan protocol, Sterixol or Trek. It is none of these protocols, because these protocols, they use the excimer laser to remove tissue, to remodel. And then, because I remove tissue, I need to cross-link the cornea. PACE is also using excimer laser and cross-linking, but the whole effect is cross-linking. The excimer laser is a tool for this very precise epithelial map-driven BTK. And we have the coupling effect. So, as you can see here, this is an amazing effect in PACE. And now comes the beauty. I have not removed any tissue, right? So 1 year later, I do a wavefront-guided trans-PRK, and I improve even more. So we have patients that went from 59 diopters to 45 with a massive gain. So these are the possibilities we now have. We currently have treated more than 220 eyes. We will start publishing now. This technology is exclusive to the CI device that I have developed. It should be available by the end of the year because we're waiting for the penetration enhancers. Now, the last element is also fascinating. I'm sure you all are familiar with CARES, Susan Jacobs' CARES technology. CARES was developed as a concept from ICRS, where Susan told herself, why do I use a PMMA ring segment? Why can't I do this out of human cornea? My own personal journey with the CARE started in 2023 in January, so 2 years ago, but I've never implanted ICRS before because I understand the concept of ICRS, but I did not like the very rigid PMMA material in a very soft cornea. So I never started, which made me an ideal surgeon for the learning curve. So what we did is we started implanting using the Shadi Awad approach, same technology as Shadi, who is a dear friend. He gave us all the tips, and we started. So we had really nice implementations, good results. But when I went to the Zimmer headquarters, which are 1 hour away from us, I started preparing here in the first porcine corneas just for exercise purposes. Prepare the ring segments. I realized, oh, this is so floppy and so soft. How do I get these ring segments into the cornea? This is something I asked myself, but that was not the only thing, because my background is cell biology. So ring segment is hard to put in, but also the first cases of infection and rejection after CARES have been published now. How can I avoid infection or rejection? For the ring segments, hard to put in. Shadi Awad from AUB in Beirut proposed the jerky technique. So Shadi air dries the ring segment, so it gets hard. But I see two problems. You air dry it even in an OR on the air, so you could have, if you wait 45 minutes, bacteria on it, and it is very dry, but as soon as you put the ring segment onto the cornea and it finds a little bit of humidity, it swells immediately. So you have to be quick. And how to avoid infection and rejection. And lastly, as a cell biologist, I ask myself, what if my eye bank gives me a keratoconus cornea? No eye bank screens for keratoconus, just on a side note. And lastly, what's flattening the cornea? We have really good nomograms for ICRS, looking at the depth of the tunnel, the dimension of the tunnel, the ring segment, but we don't have these nomograms for CARES. Is it the volume of the ring segment, or is it the intrinsic stiffness of the ring segment? So, what did we do? Yes, you might have guessed it. I started cross-linking the ring segments outside the body. So I prepared a ring segment and I cross-linked it. But there is a twist to it. See, I looked at our own data, and this is biomechanics published more than a decade ago, for the first time, and we saw that the Dresden protocol, the light blue, gives the biggest stiffness. So shall we use the Dresden protocol? Or maybe, remember I just told you about a new protocol we have, stronger than Dresden, 10 joule, that's the green one. Shall we use that one? And then I thought, I'm not limited to any energy because I'm outside the human body. There is no eye that I can harm with my UV light. So instead of using 5 joule or 10 joule, we went up to 60 joule. That's huge amounts of cross-linking. So we cross-linked the isolated ring segment, and then we also went into the laboratory in my research group to check the stiffness, and the stiffness increases enormously. So now, this is what I call eco-cares. I talked to Susan Jacob and says, Susan, I of course keep your cares, you're the inventor, but I would like to put the word eco in front because it stands for ultra high fluence extracorporeal cross-linking. So cross-linking outside the body. And since I did this, it has become extremely easy to insert the ring segment. You will see it in the movie in a second. And the ring segment does not swell in the first seconds or minutes. It takes days to reswell. It becomes very flat, easy to insert, and then expands over the next 2 weeks. And most importantly, you may have heard of Kera Natural, or in the US, CTAC. These are commercially available ring segments. They have several advantages. One of the advantages is they are completely sterile because they have been gamma irradiated. The disadvantage is they are not customizable. They are one size for all. But it's like an ICRS that has 160 degrees and that's it, one segment. No, we know that we need customization. If we do the cross-linking, we can still customize it, and it is like a gamma sterilization. Nothing lives in that cornea. All the keratocytes are killed. It's like a scaffold of collagen. So theoretically, no risk for infection because everything is dead, and no risk for rejection because there are no keratocytes. And this is where we currently are learning, is the flattening effect due to the volume or to the intrinsic stiffness, which we measure with OCT elastography. That's very interesting. And lastly, just show you a very short video on how we do echo cares right now. The steps you see are the same as Shadi Awad does on the Zimmer Z8 laser. This is not a commercially available software, not yet. And this is the cross-linking step. In the meanwhile, we have built an own support for our machine, and we cross-link the ring segments with ultra-high fluence. Now look how stiff the whole cornea has become. I will lift it in a second. This is the generation of the tunnel in the recipient. I'm just checking for tissue bridges. And again, I have no previous experience in ICRS, and look how stiff this is and how easy it is to insert. So my third insertion was less than a minute, because here usually you get stuck because the cornea gets very, very soft. Really easy to insert. So very exciting times for us. We created the ELSA pyramid. Depending on how strong your keratoconus is, in a very advanced cone, we do all femto cares or eco cares. Then we can do PACE if it's less advanced. And the fine-tuning, only the fine-tuning we do with the corneal wavefront guided or ocular wavefront guided trans-PRK. And we can take patients from one level to the next. So performing multiple surgeries over time to improve more and more the cornea. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Professor Hafizi, for such an interesting presentation. I think we have questions from Al Watani Eye Hospital.
Hello, do you hear me, Dr. Tariq?
I hear you well. Yeah, hi.
Okay. Good morning, Dr. Hafizi. Thank you very much for your presentation. This is Dr. Faris from Watani Eye Hospital. I wanted to ask you, can you elaborate more on the epi-off technique? Why do sometimes we see retarded epithelial healing where the ocular surface does not explain the reason? And sometimes even you do both eyes for the same patient and you have one eye healing very well and the other eye just gives you a very hard time. So you mentioned something during keratoglobus and limbal stem cell deficiency. So if you can give us your insight about epithelial healing after cross-linking in epi-off, are there any risk factors when there is no really ocular surface inflammation that can explain it?
Yeah. And these are relatively normal Kmax values, like 50 to 60. Are these in the when you speak about epithelial healing problems, are these extreme cases with 100 diopters or just 50 to 60?
No, 50 to 60.
Okay. First of all, I might have not been clear enough. I haven't seen limbal stem cell deficiency until now. And I must say that I've been doing cross-linking in Zurich now for 24 years. And I have incredibly rarely have had epithelial healing problems in that Kmax range. And I know that you are used to working on open corneas just as much as I do, but I think our environmental conditions are different. It might really have to do with the extremely dry climate you're exposed to, because I've only seen epithelial healing problems in extreme corneas, like 120 diopters or keratoglobus or Terrian's disease, but not in a standard case. That's very unusual for Western Europe climate. So my guess is it is climate related somehow, where the environment is simply too dry. So anything you can do to keep that.
And if the limbus is healthy, why do you think steep corneas have retarded epithelial healing? If the limbus is healthy, then why?
I just spent the weekend in northern Germany with François Majot. He's a refractive surgery colleague who has a Nature paper on stem cells. We had this discussion by chance, and he says that if one single stem cell survives, one single cell, you will not have deficiency. So it's not a question of too little production in the periphery. It is a mechanical problem of the transition. If there is a very, very steep transition between in an area of the cornea where it's just where it goes like this, and then it is incredibly hard for the cells to migrate correctly. But if you don't have this, then even in a 100 diopter cornea, we don't see healing problems if there are no focal huge differences in the level of the cornea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question regarding ELSA PACE technique. Would it make much of a difference if I manually remove the epithelium over the cone and then proceed with the same protocol, like doing the high intensity epi on, epi off cross-linking?
I mentioned this in my talk because this is the first question we get after every time we present it. You will maybe have 20% of the effect. Reason is that the effect is driven by the very sharp transition between the different areas and by the fluence difference that I have not revealed to you for obvious reasons. Every single protocol we have developed over the past 15 years, we did the opposite of marketing. We first validated, published, and then gave it to everybody. So you will have all the settings, but for now, to protect the technology, I will not disclose the differences in fluence we use because you will not be able to do it manually. It's just not precise enough. We tried.
Another question?
Hello, Dr. Farhad. I'm Dr. Muhammad Al-Laqani. You said you cross-linked the keras to be more stiff.
Yeah.
You give a higher energy, even up to 60 joule, to be easily implanted. But you mentioned too that you found that it starts to swell again after several days, 3 or 4 days. Does it mean that it loses its stiffness effect? It gives the same effect as the PMMA segment after that?
Swelling properties and stiffness are two different characteristics of cross-linking. If you do a normal cross-linking for keratoconus, your stroma can swell less than before. This is why you never see an edema after cross-linking. So this is just looking at two different properties. When you do a normal cross-linking, you increase the stiffness, you improve the swelling capacities, you increase resistance to collagenases, even if you don't need it, and you kill all the keratocytes and bacteria, but that's not your aim in keratoconus. Still, you do these 4 things. When I cross-link the ring segments, I do not only stiffen, I increase the resistance to swelling, which is beneficial because it gives me time during the implantation process. And then the cornea does not swell within minutes, it swells within days, but the intrinsic stiffness remains the same. It's just the swelling property that changes.
Thank you.